Good evening, everyone. We welcome you all at this webinar on condonation of delay under LLP Act 2008. This webinar is being organized by ICSI in coordination with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. As you are already aware that yesterday, that is on 23rd of August 2023, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has, using its power under Section 67 of LLP Act, read with Section 460 of Companies Act, has issued a circular for condonation of delay in filing of certain forms under LLP Act and considered yet another request of ICSI favorably. Truly a big relief to the stakeholders, sir. Our heartfelt thanks to the ministry. And for to have a better understanding of this circular, this webinar is being organized. So before we start, we would like to request our president, Mr. Manish Gupta, for his address. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Deepa. At the outset, I welcome all the stakeholders who have joined through this webinar. And today we are fortunate to have with us Joint Secretary Shri Manoj Pandeji and the team of MCA, Sanjay Jain ji, R.C. Mishra ji, and LTI team, Seema, Richa, Vijaya, are part of this webinar. From ICSI, we are thankful to the entire ministry, Manoj Pandeji, Manoj Govil sir, for accepting to our request. That request was made by ICSI few days back that MCA should consider and some relief, some relaxation for the LLPs and the companies. And I'm happy to share that yesterday, one circular has been released by MCA, wherein the condonation of filing, the delay in filing of Form 3, 4, and 11 has been considered positively by the MCA. And that circular is talking about the filing of delayed forms with no additional fees or additional fees of 2 times or 4 times. Friends, this is really heartening to note that MCA has acceding to our request, and ICSI is making constant endeavors in strengthening of the governance mechanism and regularly sharing the concerns of the stakeholders and the challenges which we professionals are facing while working on the V3 and other issues of ministry. Friends, this Form 3 pertains to LLP agreement and changes thereon. And Form 4 is related to the notice of appointment, cessation, change of name, address, designation, and the designated directors of LLPs. And Form 11, which is related to the annual return of LLP. This scheme is only talks about the LLP filing of these forms, 3 forms particularly, which are delayed. And this scheme is divided into 2 parts, wherein all the forms which are like event date is post 1st of January 2021, they can file without any late fees. And the forms which are prior to 1st of January 2021, they have to pay 2 times or the 4 times, keeping in mind the small LLPs or the bigger LLPs. And I would like to thank the endeavors of the team ICSI, particularly Dhananjay Shukla ji, who is heading the CLGC committee, for making this a presentation and taking this positively with the MCA. I'm thankful to the entire ministry and particularly Shri Manoj Pandeji for this circular, for accepting our request and always helping and available for the institute. And I can assure our full support from ICSI to in strengthening the governance and providing all the support and assistance to MCA. So that is all from my side. I'm once again thankful to you all, entire MCA team and LTI team. We have with us Shri Manoj Pandeji, who is our central government nominee as well, and Joint Secretary MCA. Would request him to kindly share his words of wisdoms and the thought process behind this circular. Sir, over to you, Manojji.
Thank you very much, President ICSI, and thank you very much, Deepa, for organizing this webinar. The other council members who are present and the professional colleagues, company secretary, chartered accountants, and cost accountants, whoever have joined this webinar. See, it's only a facilitation which ministry is giving to the professional friends so that they are able to update the data in the master data of the corporate registry maintained by MCA. Through this, the master data would get updated and would enable the professionals and the LLPs to file the pending Form 3 and 4, which they couldn't file because of the data issues in the master data, and also complete their annual filings in Form 11 if they couldn't do because of the validations on Form 11 happening due to the data being imported from the master data of the registry. The number suggests, as far as Form 3, 4, and 11 filings are concerned, they were quite robust in a sense that we had exactly the same number in terms of percentage which were filed in the previous years. But still, there were concerns expressed by ICSI and some professional friends that some of the LLPs couldn't do it because of data issues. And this is what we gathered during a stakeholder consultation when Secretary Corporate Affairs and the other officers of the ministry along with ICSI team and Chartered Accountants team moved to different cities and engaged in discussion with the professional friends. The suggestions came and suggestions were examined, and it was found that yes, there should be a facility given to the professional friends and LLPs so that whoever is left should be able to do the filings and should update the master data, because going forward, the validations which are being relaxed at present would not remain in the system, and we will now ensure that the master data is correctly updated. So I will request my friends and their that they should engage with the LLP concerned and do the filing, complete the filings, update the master data so that the correct affairs are reflected. And from next year, when the filings happen on in respect to Form 11, or if the agreements are getting updated, revised because of change in partners, or maybe because of change in ratios of the partnership agreements, these are correctly captured, and the problems of data being reflected incorrectly in the master data or being imported incorrectly because of some data issues on due to incorrect filings or due to some uh, errors which had crept in do not recur later on. So please avail this facility. This is a 3-month facility. So you and I, we expect that whoever has not been able to complete the filings should do it. For previous years also, we have given this facility with some additional amount because there was LLP settlement scheme which was already there till December 2020, I believe, if I remember correctly. So that with some additional payment also, you can avail that facility. But please do that so that you are not hindered next year from filing these forms, or when you are revising your partnership agreements through Form 3 or 4, updating them on our portal. So I'll thank you very much for giving this opportunity to interact with the professional friends again, which we have done by and large in 7 cities. We have interacted with them. Uh, I'll request the LTI team to make a short presentation so that the scheme is very clear. So not it's very clear from the face of it. We have written everything. FAQ has also been released. So I'll ask and request the professional friends to go to the FAQ. It's on portal, posted on the portal. We have tried to capture each and everything, but I'll request LTI resource persons. They are from domain as well as from technical team to take you through those FAQs and points again. So with these words, I conclude. Thank you very much, President ICSI and Deepa Khatri, as usual, as part of our MCA team from MCI, from ICSI in helping us in organizing this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for throwing light on the background and the details of this circular. So, and I would like to thank our president, sir, also for giving the time and giving his presidential address. I would now like to request the senior officers of the ministry, Shri Sanjay Jain ji, Shri R.C. Mishra ji, Shri Vamsi ji, to address our participants and throw some light how effectively the professionals can utilize this circular. I welcome Sanjay Jain ji.
Good evening, my dear friends. Our Joint Secretary Sri Manoj Pandey sir has already explained all the things. I think we should not waste the time of the stakeholders and request directly to this LTI team for a short presentation to enlighten the stakeholders so that each and everything should be clear to them. Okay, Deepaji?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, yes.
So I request Vijaya ji to kindly present the presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
I request the team to kindly switch on their cameras because we are live and people are having the blank screen when the videos are not switched on. So there's a humble request from our side.
Ma'am, is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Good evening, everyone. So let us begin with the scheme. Let us see the circular once before going into the details. So we'll just open the circular. So as you can see here, second, yeah. So this scheme, this circular is for condoning the delay in filing of Form 3, Form 4 and Form 11 with certain conditions. So we will discuss in detail about the conditions or the scenarios that are covered in this condonation of delay circular. And as
Can we close this all tools so that it can be clearly visible?
Yeah, ma'am. Is it clear now, ma'am?
Yeah, now it is visible clearly.
So the scheme is majorly talking about the two specific things, allowing Form 3, Form 4 and Form 11 without additional fee, and also with some relaxed validations, so which are there currently in the system, so which from effective from 1st September 2023. So user will be able to file the forms without those validations or with modified validations, so that which we will be talking about in detail for each form. So, and the second part, as I mentioned, is it is the fee waiver. Again, fee waiver is bifurcated into two major parts. So in case of Form 3 and Form 4, we have actually bifurcated based on the event date. That is, whenever you're filing Form 3, it is based on change in agreement date or initial agreement date. And in case of Form 11, so we have bifurcated this additional fee waiver logic or reduced additional fee logic based on the financial year end date for which form is getting filed for annual return. So apart from this, there is one more change which is going to come up in terms of processing type of Form 3 and Form 4. Currently, this Form 3 is a complete non-STP form. So now going forward, effective from 1st September 2023, this Form 3 and Form 4 will get processed under conditional STP mode. So we will talk about the scenarios, each purpose by purpose we will explain in which scenario the form gets processed under STP and in which scenario this form may go to non-STP for back office for ROC users processing. So this is also one of the major enhancement or the change that is going to come up in Form 3 and Form 4. Form 11, there is no change in the processing type because as of now itself it is a STP form. So there is no change in the processing time in type in terms of Form 11. So salient features, so basically we will talk about in detail, but to highlight the major changes, so Form 3 and Form 4, as I mentioned, would be processed under straight through processing mode for all the purposes except there is one exceptional scenario, so which we will be talking about in detail with sample scenarios. And also the one more important thing is since a Form 3 is basically the event-based filing, so we would request all stakeholders to file this form in a sequential manner. For example, if user wants to file a Form 3, which has event date of 1st Jan 2023, and also there is another agreement change happened on 1st April 2023. So system will not allow you to file the form with event date, which is lesser than the current event date, which is available in the system. So all those validations will be placed in the system to ensure this would ensure that your master data would get updated in a sequential manner, and in future we will not have any pre-fill related issues. So this is also one of the change that is going to come up, which means going forward Form 3 and Form 4 will filing would happen in a sequential manner. So and one more change that we have made in especially in Form 11. So many places the Form 11 is entirely getting pre-filled as of now. That is leading to incorrect master data pre-fills and users were not able to edit the details. So going forward, Form 11 we would be doing a pre-fill based on certain logic, and we will also give a facility to the stakeholders to edit the details or to insert or delete a record if it is not actually getting pre-filled as on the financial year end date for which Form 11 is getting filed. So which means Form 11 initially would get pre-filled and users will have an option to edit the details if they want to do so. So event dates regarding additional fee waiver, we will talk about in detail as part of this presentation for all the three forms, Form 3, Form 4 and Form 11. And regarding the scheme applicability, the scheme will be in force for a period of 3 months, starting from 1st September 2023 and will be ending on 30th November 2023, both dates inclusive. So this is about the circular. So let us go to the presentation. So the first change or enhancement that we have seen in the circular is processing type change for Form 3 and Form 4, which is effective from 1st September 2023. And please note that this processing type change is for not just for scheme period, it will be there after the scheme period also, which means forms will get re-notified with the STP note, whatever is the required. So it is not just for scheme period, it is for future periods also. So which means after 30th November also, if you are filing Form 3 with the combination of the purposes which gets processed under non-STP during the scheme period, so same would continue after 30th November also. So let us first see what all conditions that are there in Form 3 and then we'll go to Form 4. So Form 3, so as I mentioned currently, as per the current system, so Form 3 is a complete non-STP form. So which means if Form 3 is getting filed along with any other linked filing, so Form 3 may have linked filing of Form 4 or Form 5 depending on the purposes. So if you are filing Form 3, so irrespective of the reason whether Form 4 is actually relating to any independent STP purpose or not, it will get processed under non-STP only. This is the current process. So now going forward, Form 3 has majorly two purposes. I will simultaneously open the layout of Form 3 also. So basically we have these two purposes, initial agreement and change in agreement. So now whenever form is getting filed for initial agreement, there is no concept of linked filing. So it will be currently, whenever you're filing initial agreement, the form will directly go to ROC user for processing without any linked filing. So in the proposed scenario, whenever form is getting filed with initial agreement, the form will directly get processed under straight through processing mode. So which means the moment you go and make the payment, system will automatically approve your SRN and all the master data updates would get reflected as part of that approval process through STP mode. So as far as initial agreement, there is no condition in which it can go to non-STP. All initial agreement forms would get processed under STP mode going forward. And now the second purpose is for change in agreement. So if I open the layout of form 3, so whenever user is selecting change in agreement, there is section called section 17 which gets enabled for the user selection. So wherein you can see there are 4 different checkboxes which are available for the user, which means whenever change in agreement is getting filed, you can file this form for any one or more of these purposes. Suppose there is a change in business activity, change in partners contribution and percentage of profit sharing, or change due to other reasons. These are all the 4 purposes that are available for the users, and this form can be filed for multiple checkboxes. It is not a radio button, which means you can file it for change in business and change in partners together, or change in business activity, change in due to other reasons. All these combinations are allowed. So we have, as far as validations are concerned, in terms of selecting the purposes, there is no change that we have made as part of this circular. So it will continue as per the existing logic, but only in terms of processing type. So what we are trying to say is, whenever you're filing a form for change in business activities, whether you are filing it alone or in combination with any other checkboxes, that is, suppose you are filing with change in business activities in combination with change due to other reasons, or you are filing the form with change in business activities with combination of change in partners contribution, or together with change in partners. So whenever you are selecting change in business activity as your sub purpose, after selecting change in agreement purpose in the first page, form would always go to non-STP mode. So this is what we have written here. You can see, in case change in business activity is selected in field number 17, that is alone or in combination with any other purpose. So which means if you are filing business activity along with change in partners, it will go to non-STP for processing. Suppose now STP scenario is the scenario where you're not selecting change in business activity as a purpose in field number 17. Only then it will go to STP mode. Suppose if I go back to the layout, suppose let us say I am selecting change in business activities along with any other combination, or I'm filing it independently with change in business activity, form will go to non-STP. So it will not get processed under STP. In all other scenarios, that is, whenever you're not filing this form with change in business activity purpose, irrespective of the reason whether you're filing with alone or not, so it will get processed under STP mode only. Which means, for example, you're filing the form for change in partners and change in partners contribution, or only change in partners contribution, or change due to other reasons, or combination of any of these 3, without selecting the first checkbox, that is change in business activities, form will get processed under STP mode.
So, Vijaya, can we discuss here the reasons like why this change in business activity
Yes.
is kept in the non-STP?
Yes, ma'am. So, so change in business activity may require change in the name and also change in the NIC code. So, and especially, ma'am, wherever there is a change in the name scenario, there is a concept called linked filing, right? So, whenever you're filing change in business activity and you say there is a change in the name required in field number 18D, so which means that time, so form will mandate you to file form 5 as a linked filing. So form 5 is basically for change of name. So as if you look at the form 5 layout, it is a change of name form. As part of that approval process, I have to issue a new certificate of incorporation with a changed name. So that has to happen through back office, through ROC users, jurisdiction of ROC only. We cannot process that under STP mode. So that is the reason, ma'am.
Okay.
And just to add one more reason, ma'am, what happens is that LLPs are not allowed to do certain kind of businesses. So system as of now is not stopping them from changing any NIC code. So if they are choosing any of the NIC code which is not allowable, or LLPs are not eligible to perform, if they choose that, so for that checking purposes, it has to be going to the NSTP process, where back office user will validate whether the company LLP is doing the correct business which is allowed for them to perform. So that is why this check is required.
All right.
Okay, so now point number B, you can see, in case change in business activity is not selected in field number 17, parent and linked filing would get processed under straight through processing, which means parent and linked filing, in this case, only Form 4 can come as a linked filing, because for filing Form 5, you have to select purpose as change in business activity, which means whenever your STP forms are getting processed, so the linked filing can happen only for Form 4. Form 5 linked filing will not happen in the case sorry, in case of STP processing. Because for Form 5, you have to, if you want to file Form 5, you have to select your purpose as change in business activity, and you have to select in field number 18D as you want to change your name, the change in business activity impacting your name, and you want to change your name. Only then Form 5 will come into picture, which means under STP processing mode, only Form 3 and Form 4 can get filed as a linked file. Form 4 can come as a linked filing to parent form of Form 3. Form 5 would not come, because Form 5 scenario would go to non-STP. That is scenario number 1, or A, you can see here. So this is about Form 3 processing changes that we are going to make effective from 1st September 2023. And now let us see Form 4. So Form 4, if you see the current scenario, there are only two scenarios. If you are filing Form 4 as a linked filing to Form 3, that is whenever change in partner purpose is selected in the Form 3, then Form 4 will always come as a linked filing to Form 3, wherein currently Form 3 is non-STP. So obviously, whatever is the processing type is applicable for Form 3, that is parent form, the same processing type applies to linked filing also. So which means Form 4 is also is getting processed under non-STP mode currently. And there is another scenario wherein Form 4 is not linked to Form 3. Suppose you want to change your designation or change your name of the nominee, change your address of the body corporate, which is incorporated outside India, for example. So in those cases, there is no dependency on Form 3. You can file Form 4 independently. All such purposes are currently getting processed under STP. So the same scenario would continue as far as independent filing is concerned. So this is what we have written in the point number A. If Form 4 is getting filed independently, which means they without linking Form 4 with parent form of Form 3, form will get processed under STP mode, which is currently happening in the system already. There is no change in terms of processing type of independent filing of Form 4. Now the second scenario, which is actually getting processed under non-STP, is again linked to Form 3. It depends whether Form 3 may what all checkboxes you've selected. So if filed with change in business activity checkbox in field number 17, suppose you're filing Form 4 as a linked filing, and your Form 3 may you have selected change in business activity as a checkbox, either alone or in combination with any other purpose, then form will go to non-STP processing mode. If not, then it will go to STP mode. Basically, Form 4 processing type is defined for non-STS for point number B and C is dependent on your Form 3 field selection. If you are filing without selecting this change in business activity, then it will get processed under STP. If you are filing the form by selecting change in business activity, whether alone or in combination with any other purpose, it will get processed under non-STP. So now let us talk about the fee waiver part for the three forms that we have mentioned in the circular. So first is Form 3 LLP. So Form 3 LLP, as I mentioned, Form 3 LLP is majorly filed for two purposes: initial agreement and change in agreement. So whenever initial agreement is getting filed, so we've bifurcated this into two parts, which is based on event date. Suppose if your initial agreement event date is on or after 1st Jan 2021, then whatever the additional fee that is getting charged currently, which is based on number of delay days, and again based on whether your LLP is a small LLP or normal LLP. So if your event date is falling on or after 1st Jan 2021, complete additional fee would be waived, irrespective of the reason, whether it is a small LLP or a normal LLP. This is for initial agreement purpose. And now the second scenario is again
So
for
here,
initial.
may I
Yeah.
interrupt in between? Yeah. Here, what would be the event? Event would be the
Event would be the incorporation date, ma'am.
incorporation date. Now, so if that is after 1st of
Yes. Yes.
January 2021, so
Yes.
this will be applicable. Okay.
Yes. So if the event date is before 1st Jan 2021, so if it is a LLP is a normal LLP, we would be charging 4 times of normal fee. And if it is a small LLP, we would be charging 2 times of normal fee. So, which means as per the current logic, if you want to see the current fee logic, which is applicable in case form is getting filed beyond 360 days. So currently we are charging 25 times of normal fee if a LLP is a normal LLP, and sorry, a small LLP, and 50 times of normal fee if the LLP is a normal LLP. So instead of that, instead of 2 times, it will become 2 times. Instead of 50 times, it will become 4 times. Okay, so this is for initial agreement. Please note that there is no change happen in terms of the layout of Form 3, Form 4, Form 11. The same layout, whatever is notified earlier, would still be there with STP note. Otherwise, there is no change in the logic of event date. There is no change in the logic of change in agreement date. Everything would remain same. So now
And
the next, yeah.
This event date is before 1st January 2021, which means any date before 2021.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Any date.
Okay.
So the next scenario is change in agreement. So you've selected second checkbox, and event date is on or after 1st Jan 2021. So these dates, event dates would remain same for initial agreement and change in agreement. But here event date is basically the date of change in agreement. If the date of change in agreement is on or after 1st Jan, so there is no additional fee for both small LLPs and normal LLPs. And if you're, for example, you want to file Form 3 LLP with change in agreement purpose, which has event date on before 1st Jan 2021. So we would be charging 4 times of normal fee and 2 times of normal fee, which means as per normal scenario, as I mentioned, instead of 50 times, we would be charging 4 times. Instead of 25 times, we would be only charging 2 times of normal fee. So let us go to Form 4 LLP. Form 4 LLP is also a similar logic, but in case of Form 4, event date is basically the event date which is available in Form 4. Mostly it could be appointment date, cessation date, change in agreement date, or change in nominee date. So there is a field called event date in each of the blocks for which we have in Form 4, that is for individual partner, designated partner, individual partner, body corporate, designated partner, and body corporate partner. In each of these 4 sections, we have a specific field called event date. If that event date is on or after 1st Jan 2021, we will no additional fee would be charged. If the event date is prior to 1st Jan 2021, 4 times of normal fee in case of normal LLPs, 2 times of normal fee in case of small LLPs. Please note that you may get a doubt if Form 4 has multiple dates in the form, because I can file this form for multiple blocks and multiple partners or designated partners or body corporates. In that case, we would be picking up the earliest date which is available in the form.
So this date is the broad category, 1st January 2021. It is if the event is after this, be it any form 3,
Yes.
4, no additional fee. And if it is before this, so depending on small or non-small, 4 times and 2 times. So this is the basic.
Yes.
Okay.
And please note that in case of, so this is irrespective of the reason whether form is going to get processed under STP or non-STP, depending on the scenarios that we've discussed. But one thing that we wanted to highlight here is there will not be any additional fee waiver for Form 5. Whatever, suppose let us say there is a scenario, I am trying to file Form 3 LLP by selecting change in business activity, and I also selected 18D as S, that is I want to change my name. Then in that case, and let us assume that you are filing the form for change in partners also. So obviously in this case, Form 3, 4, 5, everything will come together. But this waiver part, whatever we are discussing, is applicable only for 3 and 4, not for Form 5. Because in the entire circular, there is no additional fee waiver relaxation given for Form 5 LLP. But even though you are filing linked along with Form 5, but you still get the additional fee waiver for Form 3 and Form 4, provided you are filing the form within the waiver period.
So one question is coming in my mind that if the person has already filed some form, like Form 4 already filed for some event, but the master data was not updated on account of that filing of that form. So whether that person can again file that form?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That is also one of the enhancement which we will be discussing, ma'am. I will show you, ma'am, what all changes how to, if there is a correction, how to
Because
correct
there
that.
are lots of cases wherein master
Yes,
data is
yes,
not
yes,
updated,
ma'am.
so the person can use this facility for that purpose
Yes,
also.
yes, yes, ma'am. So this is about Form 4 fee waiver. And then let us go to Form 11. Form 11 is a simple scenario. So basically, if your financial year-end date is on or after 31st March 2022, so which means if you are filing the form with an event date. So event date in case of Form 11 is basically the financial year-end date, which is nothing but 31st March. So if you are entering 31st March 2022, so or 31st March 2023, no additional fee would be charged. But if you are filing the form for any financial year before 31st March 2022, that is, suppose for example 31st March 2021 or 20 or 19 and so on, so system would be charging 4 times of normal fee and 2 times of normal fee in case of small companies and 4 times of normal fee in case of normal companies. So if you want to compare the fee that is applicable as of now for Form 11, I'll just quickly show you what is the benefit that stakeholders are going to get in terms of fee for Form 11. So beyond 360 days, if the form is getting filed for small LLPs, we would be charging 15 times of normal fee plus 10 rupees per day for every delay of beyond 360 days. This is the logic for beyond 360 days. Instead of that, we would be charging only 2 times of normal fee now. And same way, if it is a normal LLP, as per the current logic, 30 times of normal filing fee plus 20 rupees per day beyond 360 days delay. This is what is getting charged currently. Instead of this, system would now charge only 4 times of normal fee during this waiver period.
But in case of this Form 11, why they are getting the lesser period? One, the date is one for 31st January 2022. Why not 21? Why they are lesser beneficial at lesser beneficial
Ma'am,
position?
because 31st March 2021 was in V2 period. So we have not seen this kind of issue in V2 period. So we want, and also moreover, the scheme, as the JSR mentioned, CFS scheme was available till 31st December 2020. And we had not seen these kind of issues for 31st March 2021. So that is the reason why this logic, ma'am.
But they are at beneficial stage because they can give just 4 times of normal fees and then they can get away.
Yes,
That is
yes.
okay.
Yeah. Please note that in terms of fee logic is concerned, this whatever the waiver part that we are talking about is only for the additional fee, not for normal fee in case of Form 3, Form 4, and Form 11, and not for registration fee, which is applicable in case of Form 3 whenever there is any increase in contribution that is happening in the form. So normal fee would get calculated as per the existing logic which is there in the system, which are there in the rules. So there is no change in terms of normal fee. This is point number one. And point number two, once this waiver period is over, that is after 30th November, suppose you are filing a form with the event date called 1st December 2023, system would charge additional fee as per the existing logic only. You will not get any benefit of this waiver period because this waiver period is a temporary in nature, and you will not get this benefit if you try to file this form after on or after 1st December 2023. These 2 points are very important
And the
to
event
note.
should also be before this November 2023.
Yes, obviously, ma'am. Yes. So now let us see the enhancements or the changes or what are all the key points that we need to consider while filing these forms during this waiver period. Let us talk about Form 11 first. So Form 11, as per the current logic, most of these fields are getting pre-filled. And also the Form 11 is expected to, because it is filed for a specific financial year end date. Suppose you are filing a form, say on 31st March 2022. System is, stakeholders are expected to see the information or the directed partner details or the designated partner details or body corporate details who are there as at the financial year end date. Suppose you are filing a form for 31st March 2022, you should be able to see the pre-filled data with for all the partners who are there at that point in time, and same is the case for earlier financial years also. So currently we are facing some challenges in terms of showing this history data. Suppose, for example, there were 3 partners as of 31st March, of which 1 partner resigned, say after the end of the financial year. So ideally, system should pre-fill the 3 partners, even though as on date we only have 2 designated partners, for example. So there were some kind of issues which are happening because of master data update issues or whatever the issues that stakeholders are facing. So to ensure that these kind of issues, the pre-fill issues would not arise in Form 11, what we are going to do is, to the extent possible in Form 11, we will be giving an option to edit all the details, whatever the details that initially we would be pre-filling the data as per the existing logic. Currently, if you see the Form 11, so only hardly few fields you will be able to edit it. But going forward, most of the fields, so basically this entire form is, the critical fields are 6, 7, 8, and 9. 6 A and 6 basically is talking about how many, what is your contribution, how many number of partners are available. All this information would get captured in 6A to 6D. So I'll just quickly show you the layout of Form 11 also. So you can see here, field number 6 is talking about details as of the 31st March. So whatever is the year for which you are trying to file the form, so system, ideally we are supposed to report the numbers which are there, which were there as at the financial year ended, relevant financial year ended. That is total number of designated partners and their obligation, and contribution received. So what we are going to do is, initially we would be pre-filling this data from the current master. So even the current master may be correct or may not be correct. Suppose, for example, if there are no changes happened post your financial year ended for which you are trying to file the form, whether the pre-fill is happening from current master or history will not make any difference. But suppose if there are any changes that are happened post your financial year end date, by default initially we would be pre-filling the data from current master, and later on there is a field called field number 9, wherein you have to report your partner details. So I'll just quickly show you the field number 9, which is available in Form 11 LLP. So this Form 9 is basically summary of designated partners as at the 31st March for which you are filing the annual return. So once these details are filled in, we would be pre-populating these values, total values, in field number relevant fields of 6A and B. So this is how the pre-fill is going to happen. And now you may get a doubt, what is the source for this Form A9? Form 9 is, again, we would be pre-filling it from the details that are entered in field number 7 and 8. And also we will give a facility to edit these details. If user wants to, suppose due to some reason master data update issue is not happened, or data of partners who got appointed after the financial year ended are also getting pre-filled, or this number is not coming correctly. So there is a facility to edit this number. Once these numbers are edited, this total will come up automatically, and this total would get updated. So here you can see there is a 2 columns, number of partners and number of designated partners. So this field would go to 6A or 6B. So basically 6B, and this field, sum of resident in India and others, would go and pre-fill in 6B. This is a pre-fill of 6A, B, C, D is going to happen in Form 11. So these are all the 4 fields. So what we are trying to say is, initially it would get pre-filled on from master, but here user will not be able to edit here. But whenever user is going to edit something in for field number 9, that sum will come and get updated in field number 6A and 6B.
And
Same is the logic. Yes, ma'am.
we are not considering Form 3 and 4 for editing purposes. We are not
Form 3 and 4, ma'am, will tell you why we are not giving that option, why we are asking users to file the form in sequential manner, because Form 11 has no impact on your master. So even if we give a facility to edit the details because users want to update, give the correct information, it will not have any impact on my master data. So that is the reason why we are giving the facility in Form 11, not in Form 3 and Form 4. Instead, Form 3 and Form 4 we are asking the user to correct the data, and we are allowing them to file multiple forms during the waiver period, that in a sequential manner. And that is the reason why we are some MCAs also change the processing type of this Form 3 and 4, so that there will not be any blockage in terms of master data update. Suppose if I want to file 5 agreement details, so they will be able to file 5 different forms in a sequential manner. So the
And
next will, yeah.
And if the person has filed this Form 11 once and
Hmm.
still he feels that yes, the maybe by his mistake he has entered some wrong details,
Incorrect.
can he
Hmm.
be allowed to file again that form?
Yes, ma'am. If they're ready to pay whatever is the additional fee, reduced additional fee, they can, even as per the existing functionality also, if users want to revise their Form 11, it is allowed for one time. So if they've not done earlier, only one filing has done. So second filing option is available even in the current functionality, which means Form 11 can be revised once.
Okay.
So 6C and 6B are for contribution, obligation contribution and contribution received. So what is the logic is basically, again here, they will not be able to edit anything, but what we are going to do is initially we would pre-fill from master, the same logic of A and B. And once the user enters the details in field number 7 and 8, so 7 and 8 are basically for partners and body corporate partners, so including designated partners. So whatever the value, the obligation value and total contribution value that are going to enter for each partner, we will sum up that value and we will be pre-populating it here. But here the check is we will exclude the cessation records, because obviously I have to pick active signatories, active partners contribution and contribution received. Those values will get pre-populated in the field number 6C and 6D. So this is about 6A, B, C, D. And 7 and 8. So 7 and 8 ka again the same logic. Master data as on the date would be pre-filled and history changes to be pre-populated for the respective. So we would try to pre-fill master data as on the date along with the history changes that are happened for the respective financial years. However, if user thinks that this data is not populated correctly or there is some error in the data population, so and he wants to correct the data, the same will be allowed for editing. So suppose let us say my designation is not populated correctly, or my contribution amount is not coming properly, so you can go ahead and edit the details. And one more important thing, multiple roles to be allowed if already exist in the system. Suppose let us say due to some issue in the system currently we are not allowing multiple roles to be there. Suppose for example you cannot act under individual capacity and also as the capacity of nominee. Suppose due to some reasons, maybe earlier systems, may there was some validation which was not working properly, or there was some records due to whatever maybe the reasons which got created multiple roles. For example, there is one person for which multiple who is going to act as a designated partner and also acting as a nominee of a body corporate partner or body corporate designated partner. That association is already exists in the system, which we would have stopped at the entry level itself. If that has already happened, we will not restrict them to enter these details in Form 11, because that is how it is there in the system. So which means currently it is not actually, if you look at the current Form 11, it is a blocker for the users. So now going forward, if user has multiple roles which are already exist in the system and he wants to give the details with the same DIN number or same PAN number or same passport number or same body corporate identification number, so it is allowed to be given. So there is no restriction on the multiple roles to be entering multiple roles in the field number 7 and 8. Very important enhancement in terms of Form 11 is add or delete row will be allowed. So which means, suppose let us say we are saying that we will be populating the master data along with history changes of the respective financial year. Suppose let us assume that I have got some extra row which a wherein person has already cessated some earlier year or subsequently he got appointed. I saw that some extra row got created for any one partner or body corporate partner. Currently there is no option to delete. So going forward, you can add a row and you can delete a row, which means if some partner details are completely missing, you can simply go and add the details, or if existing partner prefill that has happened, if you want to delete it, you can delete it. Both options are available for field number 7 and 8. However, whenever you are adding a record valid DIN PAN passport number will be checked, which means we will still go and check whether you are entering a valid PAN. So valid DIN or valid PAN means it should be there. The record should be, the DIN should be there in my system. I cannot enter random DIN number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some random numbers or the dummy numbers are not allowed to be taken. So which means you still have to go and enter your valid PAN or passport number or DIN number. So this is
So the
about number 7 and 8. Yeah,
yeah.
ma'am.
So the purpose is basically to update completely the master data of all the LLPs. This is the basic purpose.
Ma'am, Form 11 would not obviously actually will not update master data. So we wanted to make sure that whatever the data that users are giving in Form 11 is accurate and it is pertaining to the financial year for which form is getting filed. That is the intention, ma'am.
Okay.
That is why we have given this edit functionality, because this will not impact my master data.
The complete details are received through the Form 11.
Yes. Now Form 9, field number 9, as I mentioned earlier, so value will be populated from the master and will be editable. However, this total we would be taking it from field number 7 and 8. However, if you want to edit that, you can edit it. And once these details are entered, the same number will get auto-populated in field number 6A and 6B. So these are all the changes that are done in Form 11. So let us quickly move to the points to be noted while filing Form 3, which is very critical. Whenever you're filing Form 3 during this waiver period, you have to make sure that if you have multiple agreements which are pending for processing because of whatever may be the reason, suppose for example form is still pending at ROC, or master data is not corrected because you're not able to proceed to file the further agreements with MCA, or whatever may be the reason. But going forward, Form 3 can be filed in sequential manner. And also the important thing is, for example, there is one form, suppose let us say I have one event date called 1st Jan 2023. I filed a form that got approved also, but my master data is not updated properly. There is some issue in the master data update. Can I go and file a same form? Can I give a same details? Yes, you can go and file the form with the same event date again to correct the master data. And it is not mandatory that you have to go and file. If you think that your master data is not updated properly based on the previously approved form, so you can go ahead and file. So first thing that you have to do is you have to file the form for that incorrect master data update, whatever happened based on your previous form. So that correction has to be done initially, and then you can go ahead and file subsequent filings. Because once you correct this existing event date, which in my example 1st Jan 2023 ka, suppose for example I filed a form, my contribution I have updated it as 1 lakh, but it is still showing as 90,000 for example. So you can go ahead and correct this data with the same event date. And once because there is no waiting period, once you go and make the payment, form would get auto approved and it will get reflected in your master table, and then you can proceed with the subsequent agreements. So as I mentioned, so this is one change, which means Form 3 can be filed with same event date, again to correct the master data if required. And also Form 3 needs to be filed in a sequential manner based on event date or agreement dates respectively. The stakeholders may ensure that master data is corrected before going to subsequent filing. This is very important. So if you have multiple agreements which are pending for filing, first you correct your master data by filing the agreement change in agreement form by putting the same event date and correct your details, and then go for subsequent filings, that too in a sequential manner. And suppose now one more scenario which we have actually which we have seen as part of broadshoes and all, stakeholders are, so their stakeholders are saying I'm getting a pre-filled data but it is not actually correct. There is no facility to delete the record and add the same record within the form, because currently system will not allow you to delete a person and add a person within the same section. Suppose if I show you the form 3 once again layout. So we are talking about field number 19. So here current validation is if you want to delete a person and if you want to add a same person, so system will not allow you to do that. Because ideally in that case, your system is expecting you to file change in designation form through Form 4. But because this master data is not updated properly due to my earlier filings, so we are allowing this during the waiver period. We will be allowing deleting the same DIN number or the same partner or the body corporate partner and adding the same partner again within the same form. But however, please make sure to give the same event date, whatever is the appointment date that is applicable. Your original appointment date is what you have to give it in Form 4 LLP. So, which means stakeholders are requested to, so basically in that case, what we are saying is if your master data is not correct, you want to delete the, so please note that as far as validations are concerned, so suppose for example, whenever you're filing Form 3 for change in agreement, and you are not selecting, say you are only filing it for change in percentage of contribution, then as per the current functionality, only you will be able to edit only these three. So there is no change in terms of validations in Form 3 or Form 4, which means it is not like Form 11, we have enabled the entire form field for editing. That is not allowed in Form 3, which means if you see that if you have got some incorrect data got pre-filled in the system, which you think that it is not correct, and you want to edit any of these three fields, if the problem is with these three fields, you can go ahead and edit within the form. But suppose apart from this, suppose there's a designation mismatch or DIN number is not coming, or type of body corporate prefill is not happening properly. If you want to edit any of these prefill details, so you have to delete this record. You have to select the type of changes, delete, and you have to add a new record. So which means the existing validations, whatever are there in Form 3 would still continue. You will not be able to edit any of these details if you are filing for change in agreement. And whenever addition is happening, anyway, everything has to be entered manually. So there is no change. So in terms of filling the form, there is no enhancement, there is no change. Only the enhancement that we are doing right now is we will be allowing the deletion of record and addition of record with the same identifier, so that you can go and correct your master data. So now one more issue which may come up. So what if my initial agreement itself, now I have initial agreement and I want to file. I was not able to file initial agreement because my master data at the time of incorporation itself has some problem. Because of this reason, I am not able to file my change in agreements. So in that case, there are two options that are available to the users. Option number one is please reach out to MCA help desk or raise a ticket so that your master data, which is dependent on your incorporation form, that is Philip form, would get updated. Then you can go for initial agreement and then subsequent agreements. This is one option, which means suppose you are not able to, you are stuck at initial agreement level because your master data, which is based on your Philip form, is not updated properly. You may raise a ticket so that your master data would be corrected, which is based on your Philip form first, and then you can go for initial and subsequent filings. This is option number one. Alternatively, what the stakeholders can do, stakeholders may file initial agreement with whatever the pre-fill data that is coming, even if it is not correct, because there is no impact on the fee also. So you can file the form with whatever the details that are coming as pre-filled, because initial agreement may you will not be able to edit anything. So initial agreement section is basically this field number 5. So this table. So whenever you're filing for initial agreement, all the existing partner details would get auto-populated. Only percentage of profit sharing is what you can edit. And the same functionality would continue. You will not be able to make any changes in any of these fields except percentage of profit sharing, which means if there is some problem in the Philip master data update, you have to go and correct that master data by raising a ticket. That is option number one that is available to you. Or the second option is you can go and file with whatever the details, even it is incorrect. You can file the details, you can file the form with incorrect initial agreement, and then you can correct the master data by filling Form 3, but you may have to select the change in agreement with same initial agreement date. That is initial agreement date. There's a field in field number, I think, date of agreement, this field. And then subsequently you can file your subsequent change in agreement forms. These are all the two options that are available. It is up to the user which option he wants to choose. And point number 5, during the relaxation period, Form 3 will have a functionality to appoint us as the same designated partner. So we have mentioned with the same event date, we will not check whether what is your appointment date. Even if it is the same appointment date, system will not throw any error. However, this relaxation, this whatever the relaxation that we are going to give during the waiver period, that is allowing same person to add a record and delete a record, that will not be there after a scheme. So it will be there only for a certain period of time. Just this functionality has been given to make sure to update or correct the master data, so that we will not have this problem in future. So regarding Form 4, it is similar to Form 3. So you have to file this Form 4. If you are filing independently, you have to make sure to file the form for within the relevant partner. You have to file it for in a sequential manner. And whenever it is getting filed with the linked filing, so all the combinations, whatever the current validations that are there, that if you are entering, if you are saying you are filing Form 3 for 4 partners appointment, all those 4 partner details should be there in Form 4. And if you are filing for body corporate appointment along with the nominee, the body corporate and nominee combination also should match. All these validations, all existing validation would work as this. So, ma'am, this is it from our end. If any questions are there, ma'am, so we can take up those questions.
Yeah, thank you, Vijaya, for this presentation and explaining so well. So we have received certain questions. I'm asking them one by one. The first one is, can we file the forms of earlier years, like Form 11 filed for financial year 2022-23, but with wrong data? Can we file it again?
Yeah, ma'am. One-time revision is allowed even for the current scenario. What they can do is they can correct the master data, or they, if they anyway Form 11, they can update, they can edit it manually now. So if they want to file the form with the normal, just a normal fee, they can go ahead and file the form. But normal fee, there is no relaxation. They still have to pay normal fee if they want to revise the details.
Another question is, the old LLP forms are pending at ROC for approval. Should we
Yes, ma'am.
wait for them to approve, or should we file the revised form?
So, ma'am, regarding the pendency, MCA is already working on this activity. So, to clear the pendency, so if the pendency is not clear, so depending on the MCA's direction, so we will be approving these SRNs through backend. That decision is in progress, so we will let you know. But mostly, this entire pendency would be cleared before the scheme, before launch of the circular. That is before the 1st September 2023. So user will respective users will get an update. So what is going to happen to the pending SRNs? So Mishra sir, if you want to add.
Yeah, in addition to that, madam, you check with the respective ROC if this is on resubmission and it is any clarification required from the stakeholder. You do that in this period. Otherwise, we have a strategy to clear all dependency before implementation of the scheme. So any requirement, any further information, you just check with local ROC and clear your SRN.
Okay. So professionals are advised to go and get in touch with the respective ROCs
In case of pendency. Otherwise, maximum pendency, they have clear what I have got the information today.
Okay.
If you are there in the resubmission mode, that we have to check. Stakeholders side it is pending.
Okay. If something is pending on behalf of the stakeholders, professionals, they can go and clarify and get the things clear. Okay. Next question is, how to change the email address of LLP in master data?
Ma'am, this is nothing to do with circular, but email ID updates. We are in progress of making the changes in the user registration module. So very soon, users we will be giving this functionality to edit the email ID through user registration module. But before that, if they want to change their email ID, so users are requested to raise a request through help desk, so that we will take the approval from MCA and we will get it updated.
Next question is, many stakeholders are asking this question. I have seen in the groups as well, that why form number 8 is left out. This is, of course, the decision of ministry. So,
Ma'am, Form 11, Form 8 is actually has it has no dependency on master data as such, because ideally they should, because and in terms of numbers also, so we have seen the equivalent numbers when compared with the earlier years, and in fact the higher number. And moreover, there is no dependency because Form 11 ka circular they've included because there are master data update issues which are impacting Form 11 or which were filed with incorrect master data, but that is not the case with Form 8, ma'am.
but in MCA V3, I think there are lots of cases because of the technical issues and filing issues, they were not able to file that form. So if they could have been also be enjoyed this scheme, the benefits of this scheme. So
Mr. Sir, if you want to, yeah.
It is a request, and if MC can consider this. So
no, actually, Form 8 has no dependency on this master data. You people are filing. We have seen the database. LLP absolutely has no, we are not getting any query on this also, LLP 8. But anyway, if you will think, we'll once again review our data. but absolutely escalation is almost 0.5%, say, for LLP 8. That's why it is not considered.
All right, so if you can just see, and if there are lots of pendencies in form number 8, so we can.
Yeah, that you escalate.
Next question is, if the event date of fee is prior to January 2021, then how the fees will be calculated? That you have already explained, I think,
Yes,
4
yes,
times
ma'am.
and 2 times.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Next question is, what about those issues where we have filed Form 3 and 4 and still changes are not reflecting in MCA master data?
So, ma'am, as we discussed, so they can go ahead and file the form with the same event date.
They can
And
again
if
file.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And this time, obviously, this is to be ensured that master data will get
yes, yes,
updated.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Next question is, can we sign LLP agreement in Form 3 by use of digital signature? Doesn't relate to the
No,
circular.
no, ma'am. It is in the form of attachment only as of now, not related to the circular.
Form 3 filed in V3 and approved in July 2023, but the revised capital is not reflecting in LLP master data. So they, in view of the scheme, they are saying while filing subsequent changes, is there edit option in Form 3 to update the capital so we can capture and file the correct capital?
So, ma'am, so as of now, as I mentioned, Form 3 would work as per the existing functionality, which means existing contribution which is coming in field number 19 would still get pre-filled from the master table. And if users want to make any changes, they can file the form with the same event date by availing this fee waiver or the reduced fee waiver, so that they can correct their master data, and then they can go for subsequent filings.
Okay. Next is, can we file the Form 3 and 4 which is already pending with the ROC to approve? This you have already
Yes.
replied. How Form 3 filed till 31/8/2023 will be processed after 1st September 2023, STP or non-STP? You have explained in
Yes,
STP
ma'am.
only.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we modify Form 11 which has already been filed attaching clarification letter as the wrong master data was pre-filled in that? We can do
Yes,
that.
ma'am. Yes. Revision is allowed once.
If Form 3 and 4 are approved, however, master data is not updated. This you have explained. How about already filed Form 3, 4 and are marked for resubmission now? How can we proceed? Shall we prepare new forms and cancel old SRN, or we wait till 1st September and resubmit the same forms editing it?
So, ma'am, if they can resubmit the form, they can do that. Else, they can file a fresh form. But in this case, we may have to cancel all these resubmit SRNs which are under resubmission. So,
Next is it possible to change designation which is wrongly auto-filled in Form 11?
yes, yes, ma'am, they can change now.
If professional file any Form 3 with an agreement without stamping or apostille in the agreement attached, form will get approved under STP. What will be the consequences? They will be responsible.
Mr. Sir,
The legal responsibility of filing the defective document will lie with the ma'am stakeholders who are signing the form, including the professional also.
This is clear in the
So one
circular,
has
ma'am.
to, yeah,
yes, yes, ma'am.
it is there in the circular. So one has to be very cautious because
Yeah.
now the ministry is allowing the form to be STP. So one has to take the responsibility of filing each and every field correctly.
And we also consider the professionals also. Professionals should be very careful while certifying the information.
Yeah, correct. So the sir, since this scheme is for 3 months, so we hope that there is no filing issue in MCV3 now, so that the maximum LLPs get this benefit of this scheme and the purpose of this scheme gets achieved. So this we expect.
Yes, ma'am.
The questions are now repeated, so I think we can close it. So at present, there are around 6,615 participants who are watching this webinar and they have raised the query. And we hope that this webinar has clearly explained that this MCA circular and queries also got clarified. So with this, If Sanjay Jain sir, Mishra sir, if you want to convey anything to the professionals, to the corporates, we request you to share your views. Otherwise, we can close the webinar.
The only
Ma'am,
thing is, yeah, Sima, go ahead.
sorry, just before, sir, you start your discussion and the closure statement, ma'am, these are the details which has been given by us to the team. A team is also once again requested to go through the circular and also the FAQs, which has been posted on the website. They are requested to go through for them to understand the intricacies of the this condonation of delay scheme. So that is what just a small request to all the fellow professionals. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Mishra sir, if you want to speak something.
That thing only, all the stakeholders requested to go through the scheme, and anything you can escalate at this time also. Will reply, and let they go through very carefully, because we have brought this thing in a very larger perspective, so that all the information should be captured in the correct way. Then thereafter, stakeholder will not get any difficulty. So all are requested to take the benefit of the scheme.
Thank you.
With this,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now formally I am thanking Manoj Pandey sir, Joint Secretary MCA, Manish Gupta sir, President ICSI, who have given their precious time, Sanjay Jain sir, Director MCA, RC Mishra sir, Joint Director MCE Governance Cell, and Mr. Vamsi Krishna, who is also here. Thank you. And I also request all in the entire LTI team, which includes here Miss Vijaya. Thank you for presenting it very well. Miss Seema, Miss Richa, thank you so much for giving this clarification. And we also thank all the participants for watching this webinar and raising the queries. With this, we are closing this webinar for the day. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank
very
you
All
all.
much.
of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
very
ma'am.
much.
Thank